When you're creating a garden from a bare agricultural field, you will have, at the beginning, some heavy turf on the land. There are two ways of creating a garden effectively from that situation. You can either cut off the turf, that's the top 3 inches of the ground, and make a compost heap for the turf, leaving the soil clean underneath to plant your vegetables. This is quite quick, and you will get the fertility and the fibre from the turf back into your garden when it's composted in a couple of years' time. It works. The other way, which is much harder to do, is to do what we call double digging, where you're going to turn that turf upside down in a trench which you have to dig, so that the turf and all the fibre and the plant food in the turf is at least 1 foot 25 centimeters below the top, and you will then have ultimately a deep topsoil of high quality, which will be excellent for your plants. But double digging, as it's called, where you're burying this turf 25 centimeters down, is hard work, it's slow, it requires a lot of friends and a lot of care and a lot of patience to be successful, and you only want to do a small area at a time. What we're going to do is we're going to make a little deep bed just from here to there, and maybe 10 feet long at the most. You're going to make a line down there. That's it, exactly.
Straight that way?
Straight that way. What we do now is we've got to take out the turf, okay?
2 months ago, no rain.
We have to take off the turf and we throw it all over onto that side. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way down here. Try and keep the edges nice and straight. And what we're going to do is we've taken off the turf and we've put it on the far side of our patch. We're now going to take the soil out to make a trench, and we're putting it in the wheelbarrow because that soil will go on top of the last trench and we're going to try to do that without making a big mess. Otherwise everything goes pear-shaped. It's very easy if you don't get the lines straight and the widths correct. It's an absolute mess. I want you to plant them with the leaves under the ground and the roots in the air. But this is the best way to turn grassland into garden, because you're making the soil very deep. So I think you can finish off now by putting these clods back in the trench that you just dug, face down, and then you've got all the soil in the wheelbarrow to cover them over. What a lot of people do, and what I used to do, was I would do a small area of my garden every year. So I would be improving that soil, and of course what you can do also when you do it is not just put the turf in, but put compost in as well, deep down. So you dig the trench and then you put compost in and then you put the turf in. The roots will go down to find it, and your soil will be much better. I would do 100 square meters first. So I start in the middle or in the corner, but if I was making it in a garden, I would think where I'm going to put my paths first. Okay, so where do I want a path? Do I want 2 paths? One here, one here. Do I want 1 path in the middle? Do I want a square? My paths, my infrastructure comes first. Do I want water? Then I start to cultivate like this, and I would do 10 meters by 10 meters in the first year, like this, not all in one day. Thistles, nettles or docks, we would take them out. And if you plough it, the risk of having these perennial weeds is very big, that you haven't pulled them all out. And so you're fighting against nature in a bad way. This way, I mean, this is a clean piece of land. It was garden once. It's not kind of jungle like that. If you tried jungle like that, it would be murder, because the roots in here would be terrible. But again, that's why I'm explaining to people all the time who want to make a new garden, like Andrew, that it really pays you for 3 years just to cut it as grass. I mean, this is one of the reasons why organic farming, real organic farming, is not so easy. But once you get your soil in good condition, it's easy enough. Of course, what a lot of them do is they put ground cover on plastic. So if you've covered an area with plastic here, everything underneath is killed, and then you can rotivate it and you can plant on it.
And that would have the same effect, or is it?
It's a similar effect. I don't like to use plastic or carpet.
Cardboard works, right?
Yeah.
But it breaks down really fast.
And cardboard, anything paper, cardboard, even plastic or carpet, has solvents and chemicals in it, and you don't really know what you're putting into the soil. I wouldn't trust paper or cardboard at all, and I don't like using plastic in the garden because it gets degraded. Once the soil has been prepared through double digging, you can plant into it immediately. There's no delay at all. What I would say though is that you should have allowed your field to be mown for 2 or 3 years before you even begin to think of sowing a garden with small seeds, because you need to get rid of the difficult perennial weeds, the docks, the thistles and the nettles. Otherwise your life will be made very difficult.